I confessed to my best friend and was rejected. A week later he says he was wrong and has actually loved me all along. What do? I 26F finally built up the courage to confess to my best friend 26M that I had feelings for him for the past 2 years. He was really nice about it and let me down gently but in no uncertain terms. It was a hard pill to swallow, but I accepted this and I told him I'd need some time to just get back to the right headspace. I took a week to separate myself from him and let myself recover and rebuild my self-esteem, but I made sure to tell him there's no hard feelings, I just need the space. Fast forward to today, I ran into him and decided to talk to him and apologize for putting him in an uncomfortable position, but that I accept his feelings and I'm ready to continue our relationship as friends. Except, he tells me that he took that week to think too, and he thinks he's actually loved me for a long time but that he was too dense to recognize his own feelings until now. I feel like I should be elated, but for some reason my heart just really hurts. I feel confused and unsure of what to believe. For all the time I've known him, he's never been the type to play with someone else's feelings and has never given me any reason to think he's lying to me now about how he feels towards me, but I don't understand how someone can just go from having no romantic feelings towards someone to saying they've loved them all along in such a short time. I feel like I've been asked to tear out a piece of my heart, so it's shut, and now suddenly open that same wound to put everything back the way it was. Should I just accept his feelings now? Should I be wary of this? I feel like this should be such an easy decision and yet, I just feel so confused. Update. Hey guys! I really appreciate all of your advice. I didn't expect this to get as much attention as it did and I'm truly grateful for it. Thank you for gold too. I've already messaged him to ask if we can talk in person later today and will update on what happens. For those looking for more detail on what happened when he confessed, I'm not so sure it was that I ran into him so much as it was that he purposely put himself somewhere he knew I'd be. I like going to the park near my house to stay in shape and he was by the entrance around the same time I had finished up. We said hi to one another and I tried to be as casual as possible to go back to how things were before. I apologized immediately for putting him in an uncomfortable position and told him I'd be just fine and not to worry because I'm glad we could still stay friends. As I was telling him this he just seemed to deflate and I asked him what was on his mind and he told me that he does have feelings for me after all and that they've been there all along but he just didn't recognize them as romantic love. Honestly, I kind of freaked out there and told him to hold on because I was confused and didn't really know what to believe anymore. He told me he was sorry for confusing me and hurting me and he understood if I needed time to think. I told him I did and sort of just left it there until, well, here we are. Update 2. Thank you all for all of your advice and kind comments. We met in person to talk things through and I asked him what changed. He told me that the truth was that he'd never really felt romantically interested in anyone else before, so he genuinely didn't really know how to distinguish a best friend from something more. I know he's never had a relationship before, he's never expressed a romantic interest in anyone else, and never seemed to express a sexual attraction to someone else, so this seems to line up from what I know of him. I asked him then how he knew for sure that he liked me as more than a friend. He said he'd never felt this way towards anyone else, never felt nervous butterflies just wanting to see them, never felt a strange jealousy when another guy was trying to hit on them, and never felt his heart race when he accidentally brushed hands with them. I told him that I wanted to make sure he wasn't confusing any guilt he may feel for turning me down for love. He said that if he wanted to pity me he would have just said yes the first time. He apologized again for confusing and hurting me and said that if I still needed time he'd be willing to wait, take things slow, and keep talking more until I could figure my feelings out. I told him I didn't need more time to know how I felt, because I never really stopped loving him even if I had pushed those feelings down as far as I could. I told him that I wanted to take things slow, but I wanted to do so as more than just friends. We talked for a while, he even told me how he actually had come to the park planning to confess and ask me out, but when he heard me apologize to him and say that I was ready to just be friends he realized it might be better to take things slow. Of course, at the end of all this I just sort of happy/relief cried like a dork and he just pulled me close and hugged me, though he had some happy tears himself. We're planning to order some food from one of our favorite restaurants and have a picnic date at the same park next week.